So we're underway with the men's 5,000 metres D race. We've got Nick Wood of Dartford, Toby Spencer of Coventry, Stuart Robinson of Blackpool, Anthony Valentine of Bolton, Fergus Mead of Leeds City, Rob McTaggart of Bournemouth, Ryan Kenny of Coventry, Philip Poole of Rotherham, Mark Hoey of Ireland, Michael Dawson of Morpeth, Dave Archer of Hallamshire, Mike Burrett of Leeds City, Mick Hill of Tipton, Chris Thompson of Swansea, Stephen Whittaker of Chelmsford, Steve McGeegan of Bristol and West, and Nathaniel Lane of Cardiff.
Fourth time I run that year. Consistent. yeah.
So it's Paul Thompson doing the pacemaking. They're at the front. 70 seconds is the target time per 400 metres. So a good fast start there. They went through in about 68 seconds or so. Fergus Mead, Leeds City athlete, following the pacemaker. So perhaps just over half the field have run under 15 minutes before. Not necessarily this season though. But we've got Mark Hoey there from Star of the Sea in Ireland. He's in second place, with Ryan Kenny of Coventry in third. Anthony Valentine there in fourth place, had a good run in that 3K at Stretford the other week, personal best.
First day of the season, right? No, I'm not. Okay.
Mike Dawson we can see in the Morpeth vest, in about 5th or 6th place. So well up on the schedule here. And it just seems that as every meeting goes by, the 5K in particular just gets better and better. 4 races this evening in the men's race as well as the ladies race. I'm not sure we've ever had that before at a BMC meeting. And certainly I think the rankings and personal best lists have been rewritten already this season at the 5K. So we go through 1,000 metres, well under 3 minutes. So we're under 1440 pace. And there's not many of these athletes run quicker than that, just a couple or so. So if they can keep this going, we're already into some good times. Just a slight gap to that chasing group, and it looks as if one or two of those athletes could well move up shortly. They are beginning to bunch. We don't want that gap to become too large. Led by Anthony Valentine at the moment. Mick Hill is in there as well from the Tipton athlete. Paul Thompson doing this pacemaking. You will notice he's got a number on. He does plan to finish, but he is doing the pacemaking. Had a fantastic season already at both 10K and 5K, the under 20 athlete. Mike Barrett of Leeds City in that chasing pack. So as I go through the first mile, around about 4:38. So good pacing here from Paul Thompson. But there is quite a gap now developing between the leading 3 and the next group. And it could do with somebody taking it on just to keep that pace going along. Although it is still early stages yet. Many of these athletes not run under 15 minutes this season. But in front of us here, Fergus Mead of Leeds City goes through, just ahead of the Irish athlete Hoey, and then the Coventry athlete Ryan Kenny. Dave Archer of Hallamshire now at the front of that leading group, just ahead of Mike Dawson. Mick Hill in there as well. Chris Thompson in there as well, the Swansea athlete. And indeed that group now beginning to push on a bit, which is good to see. So as they go through 2,000 metres in 5:50. So we're bang on schedule there for a 14:35. And Mike Dawson now at the front of that leading group, beginning to try and close the gap on the front three athletes. Fergus Mead, the Leeds athlete, one of the quickest in the field at 14:33, has done just under 15 minutes this season, as has Hoey, 14:51. And Ryan Kenny, not done a 5k this season, but sub 14:50 in 2010. So Mike Dawson, all-time best of 15:10, so he's having a good run here, really pushing on, wants that PB. Let's see who can go with him. It's Dave Archer of Hallamshire, just ahead of the second Coventry athlete, Toby Spencer, under 23. It's still Paul Thompson pushing on now. And Fergus Mead once again goes back into second place. Good to see the leading 2 or 3 athletes sharing the pace, certainly Mead and Hoey. Mark Hoey from that superbly named star of the Sea Athletic Club from Ireland, having a good run here. 6 laps to go, so we're over halfway. And certainly the gap could well be closing between the first 3 and the chasing 4. Being led by Dawson. And they've been joined now by Philip Hoole of Rotherham. So those 4 athletes not being under, well certainly 3 of those athletes not been under 15 minutes this season, so if they can keep in touch with that leading group, they've got a great chance of achieving that. And Chris Thompson senses it as well, the Swansea athlete, just trying to catch up with those leading 4. Well, Paul Thompson doing a great job here. Just over 5 laps to go, having a good run himself. I've been told he's going to finish. So as he come through 3,000 metres, 14:40 pace is what we're on there. And once again, Mead takes it on from Hoey. And all of a sudden, we've got a group of 7 or 8 athletes now again chasing that leading group. And they're all on schedule for 15 minutes. So if they can help each other out, then there should certainly be some personal bests in that group. And it'd be great to see some of them go below 15, if they can keep it going. And certainly Chris Thompson has come right through the field there, in second place in that chasing group. And in the meantime, Hoey once again takes it on. So Hoey and Mead certainly sharing the pace. Paul Thompson pulling away from that group now. I think it's always good to come in the home straight and see just the 4 laps to go, means you're into the final mile. So Thompson just resting his arms there, sensible. Ready for the big kick, just under 4 to go. So it's Hoey of Ireland, then Mead, Leeds City, then Kenny of Coventry. And then it's all changing that leading group, and that chasing group rather, and it's Hull now of Rotherham, just ahead of Dave Archer of Hallamshire, then Thompson of Swansea, just a slight gap then to Stuart Robinson of Blackpool. 15:38 he's run this season, but has done under 15 in the past, so he's capable of going quicker. But it looks as if Hull is really pushing on now to try and close that gap. Sam Evans to come to the announcer's box, please. Sam Evans to the announcer's box. And certainly that second group looks as if they're closing now. We've still got those three athletes in contention behind Thompson, but Philippou is making a concerted effort to close the gap. Those behind him trying to keep up with him, but it's split the whole field now. So 3 laps to go, and it's Thompson to go through. And once again it's Fergus Mead who takes it on from Hoey, with Kenny always in close contention. But now Hull coming through, just 20 metres or so behind that leading group. Archer, and come right the way through from nowhere is Stuart Robinson, the Blackpool athlete in the luminous vest, just ahead of Thompson. Toby Spencer there, just behind Thompson in PB territory. So Thompson at 4K, under 11.50. So round about 14.45 pace. So maybe that chasing group on for perhaps just under 15 minutes. And for the first time Ryan Kenny takes it on. He realises that maybe the pace was just slackening slightly. 14.49 is his best, so I'm sure he's got that in mind as Thompson goes through with 800 metres to go. Now is that decisive move from Kenny? Can Fergus Mead respond? It's Mead and Hoey and Hull, then Thompson, then Robinson, then Archer. And Rob McTaggart, the Bournemouth athlete, 15.27 his best. But down the back straight, Paul Thompson, a great run here himself. We're not sure what his personal best is, but he's done 1 or 2 great runs this season. Kenny looks as if he's pulled away from Fergus Mead with just a slight gap on Hoey. Hull in between the 2 groups. They're into the home straight. Here comes Paul Thompson. As we come up to the bell, we get a great idea of what sort of pace they're on, and it's maybe kicked once again, maybe just picked it up in that last lap. 13.33 at the bell. 13.46. Then Fergus Mead with a second win there as he's pushing on and trying to close on Kenny. Hull goes through. So all those athletes under 14 minutes at the bell. And in the meantime, down the back straight, Thompson's got 200 to go, 14.07. So he's going to be well under 15 minutes. And Fergus Mead is all the time closing on Kenny. As they've got 200 metres to go, 14.22 at 200 to go for those 2 athletes. So they could well be under 15 minutes. Kenny kicks again. For the meantime, give him a round of applause. Paul Thompson, quality 5K and 10K this season, acknowledges the crowd. And he takes it in 14.40.74. And here comes Kenny from Mead, and these 2 athletes could well be under 15 minutes, and indeed they are. Hoey will get 4th. just outside 15 minutes for Hull as well. And then we've got Thompson, Robinson and Archer. McTaggart coming through, just under 15.10, then McHill. Big personal best for McTaggart, with Nick Wood going through. Dawson just finishing. Mike Burrett's there. So certainly some personal best there in our first 5,000 metre race of the evening.